I'm Beverly Syverson. Jeff has asked that I tell you how long we've been married. I'm married to Van Syverson. We were engaged 67 years ago this past December. So that means in June we will have been married 67 years. Total reliance on the Lord. The Lord has given us 67 very colorful years and things that we never anticipated at all. But we took as our life verses, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your paths. And he is directed in amazing ways in places we never dreamed. So total reliance on the Lord. And marriage is a lifelong commitment. And there's another verse in Isaiah 55:8, and I'd like to read that. Our journey has just required complete trust in the Lord because of the way he's led. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, and neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As high as the heavens above the earth, so are my thoughts and my ways. And his were, because we went places we never dreamed. I was privileged to be raised in a Christian home and to know the Lord Jesus when I was very young, for which I'm very grateful. Music was such a part of my life. And by the time my senior year in high school, I was privileged to be the concert soloist in a very large Christian family camp in Upper New York State, in the Adirondacks, Camp of the Woods, where I was a soloist each Friday evening in the concerts. And that was such a privilege. I guess I didn't realize how privileged I was at the time. And I went off to nurses training, West Suburban Hospital outside of Chicago. And there again, I don't know how the Lord brought it about, but I was privileged to sing soprano solos again all over the Chicago area, including Orchestra Hall for Youth for Christ. It was just a tremendous privilege. I earned my RN there and went on to Wheaton to get my BSN. And there again, I had met Dr. Edmond, the president of Wheaton College, way back at Camp of the Woods when he was a speaker. And when I got there, he asked me to accompany him on his speaking trips, particularly to Winona Lake Bible Conference. So again, I was so very privileged in the 2 years at Wheaton. And of course, Dan and I met in concert choir at Wheaton. So our music is a real part of both of our lives. I will say after that, the Lord turned my life upside down. 2 weeks after we were married, we had our honeymoon, and Van was called by Jack Wurtson at Word of Life, again a camp in northern New York State in the Adirondacks, to be based in the quartet. Those 3 years that he was in the quartet, well, the first year, I should say, the first was very humbling. The Lord knows how to humble one. I was not singing. Instead, I was given the job of cleaning the gals' bathrooms and the speakers' bathrooms and not being able to sing. The next 3 years, while he was singing in the quartet, he was away on weekends and he was in school during the week. We were privileged to live in the top floor of an old Victorian home that had been turned into a nursing home. And I was the charge nurse there. So when Van was gone so much of the time, I still was not totally alone, which was wonderful. I wouldn't say that this is the way to start out a married life, but this is what it was for us. But the Lord was gracious. The Lord then took us right after Van graduated from Columbia University, where he gained his 2 master's degrees, to Beirut, Lebanon. When he was approached for that job, we had no idea where Beirut was. It was not on our map. he was asked, of course, that I think he's told you to be an associate director of the American University Hospital and teach in the School of Public Health. I had given myself to the Lord many years before, and even to go to missions if the Lord should choose to do that. He did, but we went totally unprepared, as mission people are helped nowadays. We have to remember, this is before even jet engines. This is back in 1954. We went unprepared, but of course Van was for his work. But the Lord had all kinds of things in mind for us. We went for a 3-year stint, but stayed for 11. I must say I do not do well in Civil War. And the year after we arrived, there was a first Civil War. We had a 2-year-old and a 1-month-old. And when LeVan would leave the house in the morning, walking to the hospital, I had no way of communicating with him, no phone, no car. But the Lord took care of us during that time. And then he continued to use us. A church began in our home not too long after we were there. We had a 1-bedroom home on the ground floor of this 3-story villa. All of the others again spoke English. So even though Van was gone, I was not totally alone because I certainly did not know Arabic. We had Sunday morning services. We had Wednesday evenings Bible studies. And then on Saturday evenings, we had Bible studies with English-speaking students from the university. In fact, all the students that came from 60 different countries to the American University had to know English. So our Bible studies were always in English. But as I would say, this did not seem the way to raise a family. But always moving chairs and etc. But the Lord blessed and used us, and we were there for 11 years. Van was used in so many different capacities. Our door never stopped. Because of no phones, people came to our door. So ministry opportunities were available day after day. We're very grateful for those years there. We don't want anything to sound boastful, because anything good that has come out of our lives is of the Lord. He has taught us so much. You don't learn everything early on in life. It takes a long time. And we would just give him all the praise and all the glory for his grace in our lives. We're thankful for that. Marriage, certainly, in order to thrive, depends on total reliance on the Lord. Complete trust in him. And fortunately, we took Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And we have trusted him. We failed many times, but the Lord has been gracious. Picked us up and carried us on. Oh, the first thing that comes to mind is praying for your husband. That is a must. Marriage needs to be covered in prayer. And other practical things, gratitude for the little things that God gives as well as the big things. And the Lord tells us to be grateful. And that becomes a practice. You have to. It doesn't come always naturally. Know that your security is in the Lord. Not in your husband, not in your marriage, not in your circumstances, but in the Lord. That also is a must. I'd say be flexible, be respectful of your husband, never idolize him. That was one failure I had to begin with. Have the Lord first in your life. Marriage is work. Keep it lighthearted times. Have fun. Have surprises. There are always changes in marriage as one grows. The needs are different. So prayer, gratitude, respect, all of those things are important. Love people. That is a necessity. Practice hospitality. Be as involved in the church that you are in as the Lord leads. Be a good listener. Women bring a different perspective to things in church often. And so you can't tell your husband what to do, but you can tell them things that women may have mentioned to you. And this might help the men in understanding things that should be done that they would otherwise have no idea. Always, I would say, be active in any church that you're involved in as much as you can health-wise and as the Lord leads. I was always extremely active in the other churches we've been in, which Beirut, Minnesota, Albuquerque, and then the Mission Aviation Fellowship. There was never a lack of things to be involved in, but again, as the Lord leads. In fellowship, I have felt the Lord would have me particularly concentrate on one thing, and that was being supportive to Van, which one should be all of life, but married life, but supporting him in the joy class. So that's been my main thing at fellowship instead of children's work or music. Being the good listener, but in all of marriage, supporting your husband as an elder, as a teacher, whatever he's involved in. Marriage gets sweeter as the years go by. That it's wonderful. And God has graced our lives. He's been so precious to us and given us this relationship all of these years.
Good.
Oh my. In Beirut, as I say, the door never stops swinging. One thing is patience in hospitality. When you have it coming at you all the time, sometimes it's overwhelming, but the Lord is there to see you. You don't have to pray for patience. He gives you many opportunities to practice it. We had to turn the children out of their beds to have room for guests. Hospitality is everything from serving people to listening to having them stay with you. We've had missionaries. We've had people we didn't even know. Strangers, as God tells us, we will have strangers often in our homes, and how He blesses us. Being very open to people. People are all different, with all different kinds of dispositions. So you're to be gracious,